Joining us right now is political analyst for CNBC, and beginning next year, which is, by the way, only 2 weeks from now, he will be the national political reporter for the Washington Post. First time since he got that new gig. Robert Costa joins us.
Robert.
Congratulations on working for Jeff Bezos.
Good morning, gents. Thank you very much.
Hey, so...
you'll be delivering the newspaper by drone.
That's right. Are there drones involved in the new gig?
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to be operating the drone. That's kind of the hazing operation.
To do the Amazon drone.
New guys have to run the drones. That's right.
Robert Costa, we had the vote for cloture. That really there was no drama yesterday at all. Plenty of Republicans passed the Patty Murray, Paul Ryan budget deal. And then late in the day, we had this story that we talked about earlier in the show. In fact, we're going to talk about it later because the WMAL listener is very upset about this. Part of the savings, quote unquote, in this budget compromise that has been so controversial with the grassroots conservatives is a reduction in the cost of living benefits for veterans, including disabled vets. Did the senators even know that when they voted on it?
No, we saw it become this development early this week, and a lot of Republicans were not aware of this provision. And I think that's the problem with this deal. I think Ryan's bipartisan achievement has won him a lot of plaudits on Capitol Hill, but the details of this deal continue to almost unravel day by day, and that's causing some problems for Ryan. It's going to cause some problems for Republicans as the new year begins. Well,
and that was, honestly, part of my big argument to this is that they didn't use regular order like they promised they would. They didn't put the bill up there for 72 hours. This smacks of a backroom deal between Republicans and Democrats. This is why people get angry and say, oh, they're all alike, those Republicans and Democrats. Could there be lasting damage to Ryan and also the House Republican leadership because of this?
I think Ryan is going to be okay. Ryan's seen as a person. He's seen as a man of the conservative movement. He's not seen as an establishment Republican. So I think his brand for the moment is okay, but it is going to be damaged a bit. Ryan's saving grace is that he didn't raise taxes. He did raise fees, and there are a lot of problems with this bill for conservatives, but he didn't raise tax rates, so he's okay. He's not a total killer. But I think you're going to see a lot of Republicans now very skeptical, especially as the debt limit approaches in February. They want some kind of real demand to be won, and not just to have some kind of a bipartisan deal snuck through the Senate and the House.
Well, the deal we got through in the test vote, they invoked cloture by a fairly substantial margin, which means that now, I guess, you only need 51 votes now for final passage, right?
That's correct.
So is it in any danger at all because of this new revelation about what's happening to our vets?
I think you could see some Republican votes drop off, but I don't think the whole deal is in danger at all. You're going to have enough Republicans and all Democrats supported in the Senate.
All right.
And Robert Costa, a bigger picture here in terms of people being concerned about the Republican leadership and their reaction to the Tea Party conservative groups. John Boehner didn't mince words. It sounds like he is ready to draw a very clear line between what he does in the House and what conservative Tea Partiers are doing. Talk to me about the inner workings and why did John Boehner come out so strong against the Tea Party?
I think Boehner is so frustrated, especially after dealing with the shutdown. Boehner believes he went the distance, that he worked with the Tea Party, he worked with conservative groups to make sure that the defund movement had a chance to breathe. He thinks he and his people, and especially his allies in the House, believe he deserves credit for fighting the shutdown fight. And now when he sees these conservative groups coming at it so quickly against the deal, I think it has irked him, and it's almost something that's just really knocked him off a little bit because he really believes he's done enough to get conservatives to be happy about his leadership and what the leadership is doing. And so I think this is just something that he felt that the conservative groups went a little too far.
All right, so it looks like we avoided a budget battle for a while, but that doesn't mean that it's all going to be sunshine, lollipops, and roses up there because we have this debt ceiling matter which has to be resolved, and it looks like there's some battle lines are being drawn there.
That's right. It's interesting in the Senate. Mitch McConnell has always been looking to trade sequestration for entitlement reform. He didn't get that in this small deal. Paul Ryan took the lead, and he got these fees, and he got this small deal instead of getting chain CPI or something like that for changing sequestration and busting the budget caps. So I think McConnell's going to be trying to push for some kind of an entitlement reform. It's doubtful that's going to be possible. The Democrats, of course, don't want to deal on the debt ceiling as February nears. But you are going to see Republicans try to get something out of this.
And your sense of what's the best they can get?
The White House came out yesterday and, as ever, drew the line and said they will not negotiate. Republicans hope they can get entitlement reform, but what I hear is actually they may start pushing for something. If they can't get entitlement reform, they may try to get something on energy, such as the Keystone Pipeline or something related to that, to try to get something in exchange for the debt limit extension.
That would be interesting.
Robert Costa from CNBC, political analyst CNBC, and starting in 2014 will be the national political reporter for the Washington Post. He joins us this morning because he knows where all the bodies are buried up on the Hill. And there's a lot of bodies who are looking to hide right now because of the disastrous rollout of the Affordable Care Act. And a lot of people on the Republican side of the aisle have said the reason we want to get this budget deal away and taken care of is so we can focus on the political advantage we have over Obamacare. Robert Costa, what are you hearing from some of the Republicans now with the pressure on them to actually come up with something to replace or to improve or to repair Obamacare rather than just standing there and criticizing and saying, oh, this is a disaster, we told you so?
There is pressure in that regard, and I think you see someone like Tom Price of Georgia, who I know has been on WMAL, and he's coming out with his alternative plan to lower health care costs and make it less of a bureaucratic program, get rid of the mandates, etc. But I don't think Republicans yet feel like they have to articulate a full-throated alternative. Right now, you're still in this mode where you're trying to hammer the Democrats for the floor rollout. It put pressure on the 2014 Democrats who are getting a lot of raised eyebrows back in their state.
Yeah, but one thing that this whole shenanigans has sort of revealed is that there is still this incredible rift within the Republican Party. I mean, when we first started talking about this budget deal and all the things that are going on, one of the things we said is, should we unite behind this deal or should we fight this deal? And it was amazing to us to hear the vehemence of different positions that were espoused on that point.
It's very true. But I think the problem for Republicans is that as much as many of them want to have an alternative plan and champion that in 2014, the private acknowledgement is that come November 2014, you're still going to have divided government. And Republicans may pick up some Senate seats, they may keep the House, but they're not going to have a new Republican president come January of 2015. And so to raise expectations for a whole new Republican plan to be able to be instituted would be unrealistic. And so as much as everyone on the Republican side seems to want to repeal and replace, the replacement's not going to at least come till the next presidential election. And so in the meantime, it's more of just a criticism of Obamacare plus a beginning to look ahead, but not a rush to look ahead.
Robert Costa, a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I know you're looking ahead to being officially the national political reporter for Washington Post come 2014.
Congratulations on the new gig.